I never imagined that a simple dinner conversation could spiral into the moment that changed my life. It was a rainy Tuesday evening in suburban Ohio. The sky was gray, the trees dripping with fresh rain, and our house smelled of roasted garlic and rosemary chicken, Josh's favorite. I had spent the entire day trying to distract myself from the growing feeling in my chest, like a balloon inflating too fast. Something was off, and I couldn't put my finger on it. Josh, my husband of 5 years, walked in from work around 6:15 p.m., just like clockwork. His navy blue button-down shirt was still tucked in, and his dark hair was damp from the drizzle outside. "Smells amazing," he said, leaning in to kiss me on the forehead. I smiled. "Thanks. Thought I'd try something new with the chicken." We ate dinner mostly in silence, the clinking of silverware and the occasional distant thunder the only soundtrack. Josh seemed distracted, like he was rehearsing something in his head. I finally broke the quiet. "Everything okay?" He looked up, as if startled that I noticed. "Yeah. Just been thinking a lot." "About what?" And that's when he said it. "About us. Our future. I think it's time we moved forward, had a baby." I froze. The words hit me like a wave of ice water. Not because I didn't love him. I did, with my whole heart. But the idea of having a baby? That was something I wasn't ready for. Not even close. I tried to respond gently. "Josh, I love you, but I'm not sure I'm ready." He blinked. "But we've been married 5 years." "I know. But I've been focusing on work, on us, on just life." His expression tightened, just slightly. "You always say that. It's not just something I'm saying. I really feel overwhelmed. A baby is a huge step." He put down his fork. "Maya, we talked about this when we got engaged. You said you wanted kids." "I did. I do. Just not right now." He sighed, leaning back in his chair. "So when?" "When you're 35 and exhausted. When your career finally calms down, which it never will." His voice was calm, but the pressure was unmistakable. It wasn't yelling. It wasn't cruel. But it was forceful in its own quiet way, the kind of pressure that doesn't look like much from the outside but presses into your ribs like a vice. I didn't sleep well that night. The next morning, Josh left early. No kiss. No coffee mug set out for me. Just the faint scent of his cologne lingering in the hallway. I sat on the couch in my robe, coffee in hand, replaying the conversation over and over. He was right in some ways. We had talked about having kids. But did that mean I owed him one? Was I just being selfish? Or was this something deeper I needed to sort out? Later that evening, I found him in the garage, sorting through old boxes. "What are you doing?" I asked. He looked up, breathless. "Clearing out space. Thought the guest room could become a nursery." I stared at him. "You're not even going to wait for me to say yes?" He stood up and wiped his hands. "I just thought, maybe if you saw how real it could be, you'd change your mind." That night, I cried in the shower. Not because he was mean, but because I felt invisible. Over the next few days, things escalated in a quiet, uncomfortable way. Josh started bringing up the baby idea at every turn. When we were watching TV, when we were brushing our teeth, even while grocery shopping. I tried to deflect, tried to laugh it off, tried to avoid. But the more I resisted, the more it felt like I was being pushed against a wall. "You don't understand," he said one night. "I've always dreamed of being a dad. I'm not getting any younger." "I know," I said quietly. "But can't we meet in the middle?" He shook his head. "There is no middle with something like this." Eventually, I broke down. I agreed to just start trying, mostly to stop the tension from growing. I told myself I'd go off the pill but kept it going in secret, still hoping he'd give me time. But the guilt? It chewed away at me. I started pulling away. From him. From friends. From my work. I walked around like a ghost of myself, wondering when my voice had stopped mattering. And that's when it happened, the moment that really changed everything. We were at his sister Amanda's house for a cookout. She had 2 adorable little girls, always sticky with popsicle juice and wearing mismatched socks. I watched as Josh picked up his niece and spun her around in the air, his face lighting up like a kid himself. Amanda sat down next to me with a red Solo cup in hand. "He'd be a great dad," she said. I nodded. Yeah, he would. But only if you're ready, she added, turning to look at me seriously. This isn't something you get bullied into, Maya. You know that, right? Her words cut straight through the fog. I stared at the grass for a long time that evening. On the drive home, I finally spoke. We need to talk. Josh nodded slowly. Okay. I don't want to lie to you. I'm not off the pill. I've been scared. Not just of being a mom, but of losing myself. His knuckles tightened on the steering wheel. Why didn't you just say that? I did, I said quietly. You just didn't hear me. The rest of the ride was silent. But something was shifting. Later that week, we started going to counseling. Together. And for the first time in months, I felt seen again.